greetings, welcome to Facts About Everything. I'm your host, James Egan. Did you know that the X-Man Jean Grey has had 4 children? Rachel Summers, X-Man, Cable, and Strife. You know what's the weirdest thing about that? Jean Grey has never given birth. In fact, she's never even been pregnant.
You're going to have to repeat that.
These 4 children only exist due to time-traveling paradoxes or clones. And that is the first fact about Jean Grey. Let's dive in. Jean Grey debuted in X-Men issue 1 in 1963. She is a founding member of the X-Men. Jean Grey is a powerful telekinetic mutant. She has telepathic powers, but they are nowhere near as powerful as her mentor, Charles Xavier. She can also shoot psionic blasts and project an astral form. She has been in love with the founding X-Men member, Cyclops, since shortly after they joined the team. They eventually got married. While saving the X-Men in space, Jean absorbed cosmic radiation, which vastly increased her powers. Before this, Jean was one of the weakest members of the X-Men. After this incident, she became one of the most powerful beings in the universe and took on the name Phoenix. An Illuminati-like group called the Hellfire Club tried to mind control Jean to obtain her Phoenix power. Sadly, this corrupted her and she became an evil entity known as the Dark Phoenix. Realizing that the Dark Phoenix was going to destroy the world, the X-Men had to stop her. Jean sacrificed her life to stop herself from killing her friends. 6 years after Jean's death, the truth about her power was discovered. She didn't gain her power by absorbing cosmic radiation. A godlike being called the Phoenix saw that Jean was about to die in space, so it bonded with her. Although the Phoenix is a destructive force, Jean's good nature quelled the Phoenix's dark side. When the Hellfire Club tried to mind control Jean, they released the full power of the Dark Phoenix. The Dark Phoenix saga was supposed to conclude with Jean losing her mutant powers. The issue where Jean died is the 3rd greatest Marvel comic according to the 2001 poll, the 100 greatest Marvels of all time. Jean was later found cocooned at the bottom of the ocean, protected by the Phoenix Force. Wait, how did she survive dying? Well, when the Phoenix took Jean Grey on as its host, it didn't possess her body. Instead, it created a duplicate of Jean and put the real Jean in a protective shell. When the X-Men saw Jean as the Phoenix for the first time, they were looking at the Phoenix's duplicate body. I had to read every comic connected to that story about 4 times each to prepare for this video because it's so confusing. When she was bonded with the Phoenix, all Jean's mutant abilities were maximized. On top of that, she could manipulate energy, time, and matter. She could resurrect and manipulate other life forms and travel in space freely without requiring food, water, sleep, air, or heat. In this form, she is engulfed in cosmic fire and can control and create all forms of flame. So the big question, what is the actual Phoenix? The Phoenix Force is made of pure psionic energy. It seems to have unlimited power. It travels the universe trying to find a potential being to bond with as it needs a physical host to be at full power. However, the vast power is almost impossible to control, and many people who have bonded with the Phoenix have done unspeakable things. Sadly, Jean Grey is not exempt from this. When Jean Grey became consumed by the Phoenix, she destroyed an entire solar system, including a planet thriving with billions of life forms. The only survivor of this planet tracked down Jean Grey to exact his revenge. This being, called Starhammer, was off-world when Dark Phoenix vanquished his home planet. Many alien races were scared that the Phoenix would rise again and destroy other solar systems. To prevent this, the Shi'ar aliens sent their death commandos to kill the entire Grey family. 12 Grey family members were killed in 24 seconds. The only one left alive is Rachel Grey. She is the daughter of Jean Grey from an alternative timeline. Rachel Grey debuted in Uncanny X-Men number 141 in 1981. This is often considered to be the greatest X-Men story of all time, and it was the main basis for the film X-Men Days of Future Past. In 2005, IGN did a poll ranking the sexiest female characters in comic books, and they ranked Jean Grey at number 1. Really? Number 1? She must have barely beat Big Bertha. Although Jean Grey had feelings for Wolverine, they didn't kiss until Uncanny X-Men number 394 in 2001. At her wedding with Cyclops, she demanded to dance with her mentor, Charles Xavier. She used her telekinetic powers to levitate Xavier's crippled body so she could dance with him. She has a photographic memory. At some point you probably thought, how come Jean Grey just goes by her actual name? Why didn't she have a superheroine name, like Cyclops and Jubilee and Storm? Well, she did have a name in the first comic, Marvel Girl. However, people didn't really like it, and they couldn't think of anything else, so the writers just decided to call her by her normal name. A mutant called Zorn sent a magnetic pulse through Jean's body, killing her. In a rage, Wolverine decapitated Zorn. Jean and Cyclops were psychically linked so they could instinctively tell when the other was in danger. Cyclops knew Jean was dead when this link switched off in his mind. Her grave says, Jean Grey Summers. She will rise again. Jean Grey died once, well, more than once, but not gonna get into that. So, yeah, she died, and her spirit flung itself 150 years in the future, which isn't that weird by comic standards. Her spirit saw that the world had fallen apart shortly after Cyclops disbanded the X-Men due to his inability to get over her death. So, future Jean Grey sent a psychic message to past Cyclops to get over her. This caused Cyclops to start making out with Emma Frost, another X-Men who he had a psychic affair with while he was dating Jean. You might want to go back a bit just to get all that information, and it's hard to get in one go. The weirdest thing is that future Jean, who's dead, forces Cyclops to make out with Emma right beside her gravestone. She is played by Famke Janssen in the X-Men films. If Famke Janssen didn't play the role, Jean Grey would have been played by Lucy Lawless. Also, those X-Men films star Halle Berry as Storm. Weirdly, Famke Janssen and Halle Berry were both Bond girls. In X-Men The Last Stand, Famke Janssen begins to embrace the Phoenix and becomes unstable. Janssen had to study dissociative identity disorder for the role. She's played by Sophie Turner in X-Men Apocalypse and in X-Men Dark Phoenix. The role nearly went to Chloe Grace Moretz, Elle Fanning, and Margot Robbie. Famke Janssen was upset that she was not asked to return and accused Hollywood of being sexist for casting a younger actress to play the role. Janssen, you look incredible for your age, but a 53-year-old isn't going to play a teenager. Hold on, she's 53? God damn. And that is all the facts I have about Jean Grey, but I'm not finished. Now we gotta look at Madeline Pryor. If you know who Madeline Pryor is, I don't blame you for clicking off on this video right now. Get out while you still can. Madeline Pryor debuted in Uncanny X-Men number 168 in 1983. After Jean Grey died, Cyclops was heartbroken. Shortly after, he met a woman that has striking resemblance to Jean called Madeline Pryor. He became infatuated with her and eventually married Madeline. Scott was in such denial that Jean was gone that he believed Madeline was Jean Grey. He even asked her if she was Jean. Madeline immediately slapped him across the face, which was totally justified. Some of the writers wanted Scott to marry Madeline as an excuse for him to leave the X-Men and retire from the series. The reason why Madeline looked like Jean was because she was a clone of her, created by Mr. Sinister. Sinister wanted the two to be married, believing they had the genes to give birth to a perfect mutant child, which Sinister would use to rule the world. Also, let me know if you want me to do a video about Mr. Sinister. Madeline gave birth to a child called Nathan. However, the X-Men's nemesis, Apocalypse, infected baby Nathan with a virus and seemingly killed him. Although he would later return, Madeline assumed her son was dead for years. Also, in case you were wondering, that child, Nathan, is Cable, who you know from Deadpool 2. When Scott learned that Jean Grey was still alive, he abandoned Madeline. Because of many traumas, Scott leaving Madeline, believed that she lost her infant son, learning that she was a clone, Madeline had a nervous breakdown. She became so mentally fragile that it was easy for Sinister to manipulate her and turn her into a force of evil. When she turned evil, Madeline Pryor took on the name the Goblin Queen. In recent comics, she's better known as the Red Queen. Madeline Pryor has all the same psychic powers as Jean Grey. Originally, Madeline Pryor was going to be an illusion created by the mutant Mastermind. And for the final fact, Madeline Pryor is considered to be one of the worst villains in Marvel history. I don't mean she's weak or unthreatening or stupid. She's just a victim of bad storytelling. When her character was concocted, the writers didn't know what they were going to do with her. After Jean Grey returned, Scott left Madeline. This means that a superhero deserted his wife after she lost her child. Fans were enraged because they believed any decent human being, especially a superhero, especially the leader of the X-Men, would never do something so selfish. As a result, the writers panicked and made Madeline Pryor just really evil. So the readers wouldn't judge Scott so much for leaving his wife. This made it worse because she only became evil because Scott left her when she was at her most fragile. The writers had such a hard time figuring out how to write Madeline Pryor into stories that she disappeared from the comics for 20 years. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Please let me know if there's anything else from the X-Men comics you want me to do a video with. Also, the aliens I mentioned in this video, the Shi'ar, will be in X-Men Dark Phoenix. So if you want me to do a video about them, let me know and I'll upload it as soon as possible. To learn more facts, check out my books on Amazon. They're available on paperback and Kindle. Thanks for watching. See you again.